This is my friend Jim Gow from Newfoundland, Canada, also known as Old Guy on a Bike. Like me, every year Jim does an adventure on his motorcycle, mostly camping and touring the Americas. Unlike me, he pulls a pop up camper behind his bike to make his experience more predictable and comfortable. Jim is a stone cold pimp. This year, however, his trip has been very eventful and not in a good way. He has been down several times with only scratches, but something in the road hit his bike and did a good bit of damage. We covered a large portion of his story on the live stream Monday night, but there were a few snippets, as Jim calls them, from the live stream that I would like to share with you. Oh, and finally, Jim is struggling financially trying to get back to the Big Island in northern Canada. So if you can help with $5 for gas to get him home, I'm sure he would appreciate it. And make sure to go check out his channel if you have not done that yet. Links are below. Thanks.
So it's going to take, what's today, Monday? At the earliest, I might be able to leave Wednesday. I suspect it's going to be Thursday by the time we get all the stuff done.
Well, I was gonna do some preaching and go, man, you need to slow down. You need to, and tell you just enjoy it and just relax. And then I realized that it's October and it starts snowing up in your neck of the woods and motorcycles and snow. I think it's supposed to be like 40 in North Carolina, so that's north of you, right? You're going northeast. Yep. So what's your worst case scenario? You're sliding into home in what, a week and a half?
I figure 10 days of riding.
10 days,
because the days are getting shorter, they're getting colder.
Right. So
I will be riding. I'll be riding 5 hours a day, 6 at the most.
Right.
So it works out to it'd probably take me about 10 days to get there. Now I've ridden onto the island later than that, but I did have some snow. But that's the push right now. And of course, it means I won't be camping as much because partially because of the cold, but also a lot of the campgrounds are going to be closed once I get into the more northern states and in Canada. Campgrounds are harder to find.
Nobody's dumb enough to be riding around exploring and adventuring this time of year, Jim. At least that far north, right? Everybody else has got sense. They've already gone home. They've already gone back to work and school and all that. So everybody else has got it all figured out, and you're the one that's kind of stuck.
Now, luckily, I do have places to stay on most of the northern corridor. Once I get to New York State and past,
good.
I've got places to stay most nights, so that's not a big issue. But the adventure part about this is just having the extra hotels at a point where I didn't really need them.
Right.
So those are the things. When you're on a pension and those few pennies from YouTube, cash flow is bad.
Oh yeah.
But and some people, I've had a lot of people remarking with the number of times I've dropped the bike. It's all been different circumstances.
Right.
Nothing has been the same. It's not, so I don't feel bad about it. I'm not ready to give up as much as I do get the recommendation. Well, you should get a trike or you should get a spider. And it's like, if I get anything, it's going to be a Euro with a sidecar so I can be old and eccentric instead of just old.
I love that. That's that weird old guy that's riding around in a weird motorcycle that looks like it's from the 40s. I could deal with that part. It's everything else is like, I got to spend $80,000 on a car with 3 wheels. Nah, that's not. You're not gonna say. And everybody's gonna go. No, you can get a R7 with striker Riking Dagger ride. You can get that for $22,000. I'm like, nah. I can get a used Miata for $6,000, and I can put the top down and go.
I can buy another used Goldwing the same age as mine for $4,000.
Right.
And that's Canadian, so that's $3,200 American. And this bike, like I must admit, this bike is really growing on me.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. It's great on the highway. It does handle really, really well, except when you're doing really slow.
Yeah.
That's when I feel it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still strong enough to hold it up, but cripes, 800 pounds, once it goes to a certain angle, there's nothing, you can't hold that up. If you try to, you're going to hurt yourself.
Well, that's
And
when you get to our age, Jim, it starts to get to be, even if you're riding a scooter, if you're fighting that momentum of a big heavy bike, and that could be a 500-pound bike. It doesn't have to be an 800-pound bike. When you start doing that, that may have been hurt your back, is you're fighting that stuff. And what you should do is go, man, there's engine guards, there's all kinds of crap. Has your bike got a scratch on it besides the actual impact of the car? To me, that's like,
not really.
Get off the bike, run away. That's what I would do.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard. It's hard because we grew up not wanting to scratch our bikes, right? You know, you got that brand new bike and you don't want to scratch it because it's brand new and you're going to do everything you can to keep it upright. But now it's like, nah, just get out from under it.
Yep.
Learn from my mistake, sticking my leg under it.
But I certainly don't feel ready to give up riding. That's not going to happen. I'm disappointed that I'm not doing the full ride I wanted to do this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not seeing places that I wanted to see this year, but that just means maybe in a year or 2 years that I come back and go to those. But I'm not. I know it's going to be some days on the way back are going to be a slog. I'm going to run into some rainy time, some cold time, but it's part of the adventure. Adventure happens when the unexpected happens.
Right. When you start dragging gold wing parts down the road behind you, that's when adventure starts.
Yeah. Well, I've now got a few pieces of gold wing plastic that are now traveling in the trailer. I'm not going to put them back on until later on this winter. They're cosmetic. They don't have to be on there.
Well, the craziest thing was that video that you saw. You posted the clip of you crashing in the rain.
Yeah.
Number one, the frame that I took off your video for the thumbnail of the live stream. I see your freaking foot on the ground. Do you remember putting your foot down?
No, I don't.
You never do. But it's kind of like it's like a reaction. But if that's not your foot, I don't know what it is. But that terrifies me because I don't want my foot ever to be up under a motorcycle ever again. But the other thing is, holy crap, your bike slid down the road with maybe you under it. I'm thinking maybe your body protected your brand new gold wing, and then your trailer took the brunt of the damage. There was no damage to your gold wing, right?
No damage to the gold wing, no.
Yeah,
no.
And you screwed up your jacket.
I was sitting on I went down, hit my shoulder, ripped the jacket up, and before we stopped, I was sitting up with my back to the trailer, still sliding the last 5 feet, and watching the water slosh over me.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, but it, it's one of those things where, okay, you always try to you've got to decide when it might be the time to hang it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, not yet.
Right.
Not yet.
Yeah. You got to be punished a little bit more, huh?
I'll take a bit more punishment, but I will tell you, it made me think, and your accident made me think as well. I think at some point soon, I will do what I call a dead man's video.
I've already made mine. I'm about ready to make my next one.
Okay.
Yeah. But where did you get that name?
I don't know where I got it.
I call it a dead man switch. I've already made the video, and I made it a few months before I left on that last adventure, and it's so funny. As soon as it came out of your mouth, I was like, "Oh my God, somebody else has thought of this too." It's basically, I'm gonna give you my description of it and see, and then I want you to get. Well, why don't you give your description first, and I'll give mine. What is it?
Mine would be basically, talking about, okay, if you haven't seen a video from me for a while, the reason is because I am probably either dead or incapacitated or in a coma, and no one's got access to my channel. So,
Yep.
thanks for all the views. It's been great, but it's over.
Right.
And, what I would do is put it on YouTube and have it posted for publishing in 3 months' time.
That's
so going on
exactly.
a long trip for 4 months' time.
Right.
And then you just have to remember to repost the time.
Absolutely. That is so funny. You came up with the same idea I did. I call it a dead man switch because, dead man switch with dead man. He's holding the switch. When he dies, he lets go of the switch, which is basically the schedule. And it's scheduled in advance. I had to move mine up a month because I was planning on making an updated video because I went back and watched it. It's like, I want to say more than that. I'm going to make a playlist. I'm going to make a Dead Man Switch video every year. I want to make 20 more videos. That's what I want to do. I want to make 20 more videos and go, here's what I was thinking when I was a youngster, when I was almost 60.